Hello and welcome to a guide on how to set up your charts. First, we're going to click on Launch Your Platform for version 11. This is what your default template will look like when you open Pro Real-Time for the first time. Now, let's set it up with the ENTRADAS system. We're going to delete every single chart on this window except for our price window. We are going to delete the RSI by right-clicking and saying delete on the RSI. Right-clicking until you get to this where you can delete it. Same for the MCAD. And now we're left with just a blank chart. We are going to click on Price, Configure, and delete the SMA 1 and 2. Now, by clicking on Chart Settings and Configure Display Settings for all charts, we enter this window. Under Charts, under the Display Amount of Future in percent of width, change that to 27. Change under Indicator Titles, Display to Cursor on Chart, and also turn off the watermark. Under Platform, there will also be charts. You have to turn off where it says Display Cursor Details. Next, we're going to configure our Pro Real-Time lines. We set them both our horizontal and oblique to medium, and display hot zones. Next, we are going to change the color for every single one of the Pro Real-Time lines to one from the white, one to the right, and one down. We're going to do this for each line. Next, we are going to start setting up our default template. So I'm going to change up here to the NAS. Over here, the US Tech 100. That was the wrong one. Sorry, it was correct. We are also going to change the time for this time frame price chart to 15 minutes. Just going to make it smaller. Going to right click up here where the price is and where it says the index name, and then say duplicate chart. I'm going to take this over and take it to the left. I'm going to duplicate these again, but first I'm going to unlink them. Next, where it says NASDAQ, I'm going to click the little link on the left. I'm now going to duplicate out these charts. And again for this 15 minutes. Now on the bottom side, I'm going to change to the DAX. The same for this 15 minutes on this side. Now we have NAS at the top and DAX at the bottom. I'm going to click on indicators in the bottom left of my price chart. Then next you have indicators, indicator groups, and you're going to click on indicator groups. Then you're going to click on Pro TONR tool, double click, and you'll see it will be loaded. Unfortunately, every time you open your chart, this will happen. You're just going to have to use the price scale and click and drag out until you get it to be visible. You'll only have to do this once in the morning. So there we have it. I'm going to load the ONR tool now on this NAS by clicking on Indicators, Indicator Groups, ONR tool. Again, just scaling vertically. Now we have our two ONR tools. Moving over to the left-hand side, we're going to load our ENTRADAS system. We're going to click again on Indicators. Now we're going to load Tsunami Pro T ENTRADAS by double-clicking on it and clicking on Use Apply the time. Also apply the time frame and amount of data loaded. Click on ENTRADAS. Let it load. We're going to do the same for the DAX at the bottom. Clicking on Indicator Groups, we then click on ENTRADAS, and we have now loaded two 15-minute charts. I'm going to duplicate out the NAS and the DAX by clicking on the index name and saying duplicate charts. Once it's duplicated, I'm going to change the time frame to 1 hour. I'm going to do the same for the DAX. Changing it also to 1 hour. It seems we're running out of a bit of space, so I'm going to just make these a little bit smaller and make my ONRs a bit smaller. There we go, now everything should fit nicely. We have our NAS 15-minute from left to right, we have our NAS 100, we have our DAX 15 and our DAX 1 hour. Again, let's duplicate both 1 hour charts. This will now be our 4 hour chart. Changing the time frame to 4 hours on both. Just scrolling in with my mouse wheel to zoom in a bit. You can also zoom in by clicking on this plus or minus magnifying glass. The last thing that needs to be discussed is the scaling of the text. We can see here on the 15 minutes of the DAX, this text is very on top of each other. So all we are going to do is click on price. In that time frame, click on figure. Where it says B13007, we are going to change the scale possible entry to a little bit larger, increasing the gap between them. And you can see that immediately there's a little bit more space. We can increase it even a little bit more. And we can immediately see that this now says trade over, a possible retracement. Unfortunately, this will need to be done on all time frames, so we're going to also do it here on the 4 hour as an example. Going there to our BB13007 and changing our possible entry to, let's say, track 10. Seems to have not been enough. Oh, it was, sorry. And now we can see that everything is nice and calibrated. That concludes the setup video for the ENTRADAS system. The last thing we need to do is create a template. You're going to go to File in the top right of your template, click Save As. We are going to call this ENTRADAS. We are going to call this ENTRADAS. This specifically fits my laptop screen, so I'm going to call it ENTRADAS laptop, and I'm going to save it. And now you can see in the top right of your toolbar, our new profile or template has been saved as ENTRADAS laptop. And if you have made multiple templates, you can click on the profile and find the one you are looking for. And that concludes the ENTRADAS setup video. Thank you so much.